It's wonderful to welcome country music singer-songwriter Robyn Ashley for the third time on this podcast. I think last time we talked was last year. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a
Time
wonderful
flies.
reunion. I believe last year she released a single called "Everything's Changed," which is part of an EP. So now that EP's come, and it's also named "Everything's Changed." So Robyn, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great year just seeing like that whole project come to life. So I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming too. So first, I'd like to ask, how did you enjoy Canadian Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was really good actually. Thanksgiving's one of my favorite holidays. And I believe that you should be thankful all year, but I do really appreciate the opportunity to get together with family and people you might not see super often and just have a meal and practice gratitude. So yeah, it was really good. Thanks for asking.
All right. So what are you thankful
Yeah.
for this year overall?
Oh my gosh, I think I'm thankful this year for definitely my family and my friends. I'm really lucky to have a great support system around me, and I'm just thankful for, the ability to that I have the ability to wake up and be creative and do what I love and have people that I can, you know, say that I love. So just grateful for the people in my life mostly for sure.
Let's see. Yeah. So how long did it took to complete the EP?
So we started recording it in 2023. So the whole process I would say just took under 2 years. And for me, this was really the project that was me trying to figure out how to do music because I was like, I know I want to do music. I know I want to release music. I want to record music. And I let fear stop me for a long time. So later on in life, I was like, I just need to do it. And so this process was me just figuring out how to do that, meeting people who I could collaborate on with this project and doing over the course of almost 2 years. So some of the songs were recorded in 2023, and I think two were recorded in 2024. And then all the process of post production and all that stuff kind of happened over the 8 months of 2024 leading 2025, and then we put it out in the fall. So it was definitely a long process, but it was one full of learning, which was good.
Yeah. Then what are some of the most valuable things you've learned from the process?
I think for me, the most valuable thing I learned was don't try to be something you're not. Because, lots of times when, you're an artist, it's such a vulnerable thing to put your art out there. And it's really easy to get caught up in, oh, well, this person put out the song and I love it and it's doing so well, but that person's not you. Right. So it's really easy to compare your art to other people. And I think the biggest thing that I learned was like, you know what? Just if you like it first, that's the most important thing. Don't try and fit into any boxes. Don't try and make it like anything else. You have to love your art first, and then after that, everything else will come. But so it was a really solidifying project for me to say, okay, I can do this, and it's okay to be different than what other people are doing in my circles or in my circles of influence. So that was probably the most important lesson, which really has influenced what I'm doing for 2026, which is really fun stuff. That's very different from the EP, but I think without that EP, I wouldn't have found where I'm going to go and where my sound is going in 2026. So
Okay. Yeah. Tell us more
yeah.
about what your plans are for next year.
So next year we have a Christmas song coming out in a month, so that's super exciting. And then my band and we've been working a lot on some music that is very like I would say country influence, but it's definitely has some rock elements. And I don't really know how to describe it other than calling it like a sparkle rock because it has like the brightest parts of pop and country put together with this really edgy rock feel. So I'm really excited to kind of release that into the world as well. And I really wouldn't have gotten to this place without going through the process of everything's changed. And the title of the EP, the reason I titled it the same as the single is because when you peel it all back, everything can change when you make the decision to do something, right? As soon as you decide to do something and start doing it, everything can change. And I think that's why fundamentally I kept that title for the EP because it really does describe that stepping stone in my journey.
Okay. Yeah. And it's your debut EP as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So everything can change just once you decide to do the thing, whatever that thing is for you, right?
Yeah, certainly. So what
Mhm.
was the earliest recorded song that make it to the EP, and what was the latest?
The earliest one was Chasing Red Lights. And the last one was Dancing in the Kitchen. So Dancing in the Kitchen was recorded in 2024. And then Chasing Red Lights was recorded in 2023. Or sorry, 2024. And then yeah, 2023. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's 2 years ago. 2023, Chasing Red Lights was recorded. But and Dancing in the Kitchen was one that we weren't sure we were going to put on, but we were singing it live a lot, and it's very fun, and it caught some attention of just like people would always come up and talk to me about that song, so we decided to put it on. So that one we did in March of 2024. We recorded that one.
Hmm. Yeah. And what were some of the challenges that you had to face during the process?
I think self-doubt is a huge one. I think we all face self-doubt when we're doing something that means a lot to us. So I think just that voice inside my own head that kind of was loud and maybe discouraging in a lot of different things was something that was really challenging. And just figuring out the process, because in my mind I was like, okay, well, we can just do this and then really quickly put out all this stuff, but it ended up taking like 2 years. And that's just, it wasn't because people weren't doing stuff or we were intentionally slowing down. It was just that's how long it took for all the different parts to come into play. And so I think the hardest part was just trusting the process and then not letting my insecurities like rise to a point where it influenced me maybe not going in the direction that the project was going. Because in 2 years, like I've changed as an artist in 2 years. So how I felt in 2023 is not how I feel now, right? So, but these songs are really who I was in 2023. So it's kind of interesting to just be able to trust your art and just be able to like put it out, even if it doesn't necessarily, it takes longer to come out than where you've evolved as an artist. So it's kind of cool. But now that it's out, it's really nice to listen to those songs and be like, yeah, I remember how I felt when I first heard them and when I wrote them. So yeah, it's a very dynamic process, let's say.
Yeah, certainly. So, what do you find to be your biggest artistic change or evolution between 2023 and now?
I would say definitely my sound. Like I personally, like I'm passionate about like being a vocalist. Like singing is definitely the love of my life, and so the I think in this EP, like I was singing and I was so concerned about like I want to make sure it sounds good, but now it's like I want to be expressive. And so that's a very those are two very different things. So I mean just and this just comes with, being an artist and being expressive versus caring about what it sounds like or looks like. And so I think in 2026 we'll hear a lot more of me just being very expressive in my music. And not that I wasn't in this EP, I was, but allowing that vulnerability is difficult. So I wasn't as okay with being vulnerable in 2023 as I am now. So I think that would be a cool thing for listeners to hear from my first stuff, which is fine. It's just I don't know if I was able to be as vulnerable as I am now when I'm singing, you know?
Yeah, certainly. So, tell
Yeah.
me about the most vulnerable song in the EP.
I think it's which piece do I follow? And that song is really about sometimes when you're really hurt or upset or something happens with somebody you love and you love them but you're so angry with them and it's like where do I go from here, right? Because it's like it's not that I don't love you anymore, but I'm so upset, right? And I'm so upset that you did this or you could do this. And I think lots of times it's not as simple as we love someone or we don't like someone. Like it's not that simple. There's a lot of gray area. And I don't think that's sung about a lot is like, where do I go from here? It's like, I love you or I'm done with you. And I think this song is really in the middle of that spectrum. It's like, well, I don't know where to go from here. Like, where do I go? So which piece do I follow is about when your heart is kind of pulling you in two different directions and how you navigate that.
I see. Yeah, it's a powerful song.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks.
so do you have like a moment during the recording process that you know that these are the songs that needed to be on the EP and there are no more songs necessary?
Yeah, like I would say it was before the recording process. It was like with my band, we had the songs that we've written, and I've had a few songs that like were pitched to me because there's two that I didn't write on the EP. I didn't write Chasing Red Lights and I didn't write Rips in My Blue Jeans, but I heard them and I felt something. So for me, that's a really good indicator that like, oh my gosh, I really like this song. So I was really honored to be able to record those two songs that were written um, by some other artists and writers in the community. But I think it's based on your gut kind of tells you, honestly. Like you're listening to these songs and you're like, yeah, okay, and with the obviously with your team, my producer, we talked about them and we kind of landed on the same place, which means that like the songs really spoke for themselves and just the vibe of the EP. It's like everything's changed and it's like the introduction to like love and heartbreak and like the first chapter of what my musical journey will be, so to speak. So I think these songs really represented that.
Mhm. Yeah. Tell me about the time when you had the most fun recording.
I think the most fun I had was when we were recording Chasing Red Lights and Everything's Changed and Witch Piece. Those three songs had the same players on them. And I flew to Toronto to because my producer lives in Toronto. And I stayed there for a week and we just were in his studio and it was just so fun having like watching the players do their thing. And I had a lot of creative input, which I really appreciated. Like if the guitar player was playing something and I had the freedom to say, you know what, I don't love that, can we like shift it this way? And they were so open to that. So it was so fun to actually create and bring to life songs that I've only heard with an acoustic guitar, because once you add all those other layers and instruments, it really changes the song and elevates it to a point where you're really excited. And I just remember that feeling of being so happy in the studio when I heard them being played with the full band. So that would be the most fun for sure.
Mhm.
Hearing the songs go from an acoustic guitar to a full band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been quite a change, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool to see that evolution of how other instruments bring it to life.
So what do you hope people will take from listening to the EP?
I think they feel like a sense of like light and hopefulness, and just like smile when they listen to it, because it really does represent just deciding to do the thing. And for me, it's music, but for someone else, it could be anything. And I hope it just translates to, you know, if you just put one foot in front of the other, you'll get to where you want to go. You'll definitely move from where you are. And I think as long as it encourages people to be hopeful and optimistic, that would be my goal.
Yeah. And what would be your hopes for next year, music-wise?
So next year, so my band and I, so in this EP, I use a lot of session players and they're amazing players. But since then, I found like I want to call them my music family. So I have a group of four guys who I play with consistently now. And we've started writing songs together. So I really hope that in 2026, my sound as our band can really come through and people can be like notice like the musicianship and the differentiation in the music that we're putting out now from a lot that's out there. Our band is really special. We have like our drummer is like he's in his 60s and he's so experienced, just so amazing. And it's kind of fun because all of us are um a lot younger, but we're like we call him the band dad. But because we have such a depth of experience within the band between the five of us, the music we're creating is pretty cool because it pulls from everyone's experience, which is very, very different. So the sound is very fresh and it's very interesting. Like it's not like you wouldn't hear it be like, oh, like that sounds exactly like whoever. Like it's very much curated from all of our influences. So I'm excited for that in 2026 to kind of come through and to see how people resonate with it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the band. How did it originate?
Yeah. So um so me and my acoustic rhythm guitar player, I'll call it, his name is Cam. We were the first two. And me and him were just we gig around like my hometown together all the time. And then through one of his friends, we met our bass player. And then so he started playing with us. And then our lead guitar player was a friend of my bass players. So that's how the four of us got together. And then I was actually at a jam and I saw our drummer. His name is Dean. And I just walked up to him and said, "Hey, like I need a drummer. Are you taking on new projects right now? Like what's your schedule like? Do you have capacity?" And he kind of I gave him my information. He kind of looked around. He's like, "Yeah, like I'll do a gig with you guys." And it's turned into this like project where we're really like a family. Like it's we're all super close and um so it just it's very organically built, but now that we have each other, it's very like, we practice once a week, we see each other once a week, um, and we write and we gig and we do all those things. So it's really like, um, they're probably like my closest friends now, which is amazing. But that's how it came together, very organically, and just through people that we like. Everyone just knew one of us, right? Except for Dean, I just walked up to him and he thankfully was like, "Yeah, I'll play with you guys." So that was good.
I see. So do you guys live close to one another?
Yeah, like I would say like we're probably half an hour apart, all of us, but we practice at our drummer's house. So it's not too bad. We yeah, it's probably half an hour drive. It's not too bad.
So
Yeah.
where's your life like outside of music?
Outside of music. So um I'm really I'm really focusing this year is really a focus for me on um mind, body, and soul. Like I'm really taking this time and really trying to anchor in and make sure that I'm healthy both in my mental health and my physical health. I think, and it's fine, but I think a couple podcasts ago we talked about my car accident, and I'm still dealing with lots of issues from that. So I've kind of taken a step back from everything else and really prioritizing trying to get that all sorted, and then just focusing on music because that is truly my happiest place is in music. And even my medical team agrees that like it's important to do stuff you love when at all times actually, but especially when you're dealing with other physical challenges because it creates that endorphins that's good for your body, right? So right now my focus is really on just mental health and physical health and just making sure I can get that back on track hopefully. So
I see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry to hear about the accident.
Oh, that's okay. Like, you know what? Everyone has stuff that they have to deal with, and that was something for me. And it's definitely forced me to slow down. Because before my car accident, I was so busy, and I am still busy, but different. Like I was kind of going down a path that was very different from the path I'm on now. And I'm one of those people who believe that the world universe or will will kind of step in a way when you're maybe not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I think maybe for me that was this. So I'm trying to just have a lot of faith in my path and just doing what I need to do and hopefully everything will fall into place. So
Yeah, I see.
yeah.
So how has the recovery journey been?
Um it's been really touch and go. Like I would say I've plateaued for probably a year now at least. And and like it's kind of, and I'm sure lots of people who have had serious concussions and other injuries involving the brain and whatever, um there's the initial issue, but then other things come from that, so it becomes this web of like symptoms and other stuff. And so it's been very interesting. I've been at war with myself for so long, trying to push my body and push myself more than I probably should have been at times. And so I've had to learn how to listen to my body a lot more because before I wouldn't. And so now if I don't, then I do feel the consequences of that. So it's been an okay journey. I've definitely learned a lot about myself, and but at the same time it's given me space to be creative and really lean into art, which is amazing because before I was working so much that I didn't really put the time into that. So that's been really nice. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can figure out a new medium where I can heal um and kind of beat some of the barriers I still have. But I'm definitely grateful and I'm not complaining. It's definitely been a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Chong. Yeah, no, it'll be good.
Yeah. So how has the EP been received so far?
I think it's been received good. Like, something that's, I don't know if a lot of artists talk about this, but there's making the EP or your project or your music, and then there's releasing and marketing it. And those are two very different things. And so I'm still kind of learning what process works for me in terms of post-release. And post production and all that stuff, but I think it's been received pretty well. Like we have our EP release show and like just our full band show coming up next month, which I'm super excited about, and we're gonna have a lot of people there, which is awesome. And I think it has like from a streaming perspective, I think it's done pretty well. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of good compliments, and I think it's just a really good foundation for everything else that's going to be coming.
Yeah. So when's the release show?
November 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's November 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make sure to publish this before that date.
Oh, thank you, Chong. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. So was there anything that surprised you about how the EP was received?
I think I think what surprised me, yeah, what surprised me the most was what songs people have talked to me say what is their favorite. Like a lot of people have said Rips in Their Blue Jeans is their favorite. And that's so interesting because that's probably not my least favorite. Like I love them all, but it's probably the one that I wouldn't be my top two or three for sure, but lots of people like it. So it's interesting to see how your favorite songs and then what resonates with people is can sometimes be so different. So that's been kind of cool to see what songs people like the best.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting song for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you plan to release the EP in physical media, say CDs?
You know what? I haven't thought too much about that. I think this one is gonna stay digital, but I think the album that me and my band are working on, whenever our debut album comes out, that one we will do physical vinyl and stuff on for sure.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Chong. I'm really excited for you to hear like the new stuff and just to see how like from everything's changed to one of the songs is called Blue Skies, and it's fun, and I'm like, hey, this is really like subject matter that I care about and that is really me. And another song is called I'll Stand By You, and um yeah, it's kind of nice to say like to see my values come through my music more in this next project.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. So I know that people talk a lot about how music changed their lives. So they always talk that they always say it in the past tense, or they say it in the present perfect tense, or
Yeah,
have changed. So is there a sense that you find that music is still changing your life?
all the time. And for me as an artist, it kind of changes my life in two different ways. Like it's as a listener, I'm impacted by music a lot and I'm inspired by music a lot. And then as a artist, um, it changes it's actually the medium that I can release my stress and my emotion through. And when I sing, especially when I'm by myself, when I sing and I'm just doing music, it really helps me, has this healing effect almost, or if like I'm whatever mood I'm in, it's able to really help me through that. Or sometimes there's just the right song that depicts exactly how you're feeling and you'll listen to it on repeat. I'm sure everyone knows that feeling where they listen to this one song on repeat because it really connects with them and what they're going through right this second. So yeah, music is just such an amazing thing. And actually, my guitar player, he's reading this book right now, and it's called something along the lines of like music and like how music influences the brain. And music hits our brain so differently than any other medium of any kind, and that's why we have such an amazing and intricate relationship with it. So I've learned a lot just from him talking about what he's learning in this book. So it's music is just, and it's the oldest form of like music has been around, like of communication, right? So it's just amazing to see how it can be brought to life and how it can influence myself and as others as well.
Hmm. Yes. Well, well, finally, so what can you tell us about the album?
So we're yeah, so we sat down as a band and we're like, okay, guys, what do we want, our next project to look like? And so it's gonna be an album that's just really raw and has songs of our band, and it's very much a sparkle rock vibe. Um, but like another song in there is called Hello in Heaven, and that song, I love it so much. And so there's this album really probably is me making music when I'm not afraid of being judged, whereas the EP, I was still, and everyone's always scared of being judged. Like I don't think that ever goes away, but I think with this next project with my band, again back to the vulnerability. I'm a lot more okay with being seen and my heart being shown. Whereas in this EP, I don't want to say that's not there because anytime you put yourself out there, your heart is being shown. But I definitely had some guardrails up, and so it's really cool for me to see how my mentality is shifts from the Everything Changed EP, where I'm like, it's very optimistic and like if you just do the thing and take the step, you'll get there, and which is amazing. And then now it's like these new songs are like deeper, really really deeper into the core of like who I am as a person as well. So I'm excited to share that in 2026 and 2027. So
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
yeah, thanks Chong, I really appreciate you having me today.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.